Hello friends, welcome back to Brick System Brothers. I have 2 large cups of pick and build elements from St. Louis. Figured I'd show you guys some of the parts I picked up. I did cash in my VIP points. Otherwise these cups are, let's see, $15 a piece, I believe. Usually if you get smaller pieces that fill in the gaps, the value is still pretty good. But in this case, I think I had $30 worth of points and then a couple dollars to cover the difference. So I didn't, I wasn't as concerned about completely packing things, although I did definitely try to cover as much ground as I could in each cup. This one has quite a bit of plate elements. Some of the olive green 4x8 semicircle plates. It's an interesting part and an interesting color. I think I only got, let's see, 8 of them here. So those down in the bottom. And then on top of those, I stacked some 8x8 tan plates. And these are good for covering lots of area in a few pieces. Just forming structural floors if you're doing that kind of building, like modulars. 4x8. And then this is the light nougat, or maybe a medium nougat. One of the more kind of earth tone colors. I think it works good for wood floors if you're going to be doing that kind of effect. A nice mix of those plates here. A few more of the dark orange 2x6. This was a part that I got last year at, what was that, Indianapolis maybe? At another Lego store. So dark orange plates, maybe not as plentiful in different sets, and I have seen some really good builds of doing like a Martian surface, a Mars base, and dark orange was a good color for the ground in those builds. So those were kind of the the pieces that took up a lot of the room without doing a lot of packing. And then as I filled the cup up, I tried to fill in some of the gaps with smaller elements, and there are a few nice ones to choose from. We have the 1x2 door rail is what I call this part. Bring this up here in green, so it can be used as a good accent color if you're going from wainscoting on a wall to a solid wall color. You can put this piece in between, it breaks it up nicely. An element I was really happy to see on the walls is the tan ingot piece, kind of a stylized with that chamfered edge on there. And this was my go-to filler element for this purchase. I'm sure I have hundreds of these between the 2 cups. Again, useful for architectural detailing and just breaking up a surface that's otherwise smooth and not as interesting. If you can put these tan plates as some kind of vertical pattern, even doing a stagger for brickwork, that can do a lot to the presence of a structure. Again, mostly thinking about in terms of structural building projects like modulars, something I want to be building more of. To that end, we have some of the 1x2x2 panes of glass that I just dropped a few of them. And these are the new regular transparent color. So it's maybe a little bit of a softer plastic. I haven't seen anything really scratched up from these, but especially the larger windshield elements, if those are not protected very well, those get scratched pretty easily compared to the old version of that clear plastic. So I'll have to treat these with care until they are in use. Would love to get the frame that goes along with these, but that was not on the wall. The other piece in this cup was just a regular 1x2 white bow Yeah, a good packing part. Probably didn't need as many as I got. And on to the second cup. Okay, a couple of different types of elements in here. Largest ones would be this interesting part. 8 by 8, but half the plate area is actually that semicircle again. This time it's just attached. So I know that there is a few copies. There's a few copies of this part in the townhouse modular, the teal townhouse, in white. So if I actually want to do a color swap version of that building with this nougat floor color, I'm kind of well on my way to that already by having these parts and the 4x8s. So that is something I'll definitely be looking at in the future, and just getting another townhouse for the modular lineup with those elements. Okay, probably the part that I was most excited about getting a hold of this time around is the 3-wide door panel. So if you have not been keeping up with new parts this year, this is a new mold. You can put 2 of them side by side, and then there's an existing 1x6 by 5, or I think it's 5 bricks tall. There's an existing frame that these will go inside of, and then you actually have a working double door without leaving a frame in the middle. So up to this point, doors have been 4 wide, doors have been 3 wide. In fact, with a retired element, it was possible to have something similar to this. Look at some of the old 6 wide semi-trucks from the 70s and 80s, and I think they were using those old 3 wide style doors. But these days, hadn't really seen anything like that was in the current style. And now a lot of the city sets this year, 2022, have been introducing this new double swinging door. So this was included in a list of 10 elements that I put a video out quite a while back this year. And St. Louis Lego store had transparent light blue. Definitely a bit of a negative that they did not have the frames for these in stock. So yeah, kind of 2 points off for not having the door frames or the window frames for both of these insert elements. But I think the benefit of having this kind of piece be available at a Lego store does outweigh the fact that it was an unmatched pair. So I'm going to see the positive this time, not necessarily try to get too bummed about not having the correct other counterpart element here. Probably did not make the best use of space by getting these, but I have seen some potential for these to be used as a skylight, so I wanted to pick up a few to have on hand. Kind of a curved windshield skylight panel element. Again, the new transparent plastic just got a little bit of a different feel to it. It doesn't, it doesn't have the same. Let me grab some of the old transparent. So that sound, that kind of clinky sound, is a property of the plastic that it's made out of. And that material has been switched in the past year or so. From a consumer standpoint, I think it is a downgrade because it scratches easier and there's kind of this haze in it that you didn't get in the original plastic. I'm not sure what's going on behind the scenes at Lego, why they made this switch, but I think it's definitely something that has been seen in more of a negative light than positive. Although, One positive that I have seen as a result, direct result of the change, there are some elements that were previously, by internal guidelines of the LEGO group, they didn't want to make that element in transparent plastic just because of the material properties. Now that they have switched over, I think this is called MABS. I'm actually going to put a link to an article in about this plastic because I've been talking about it so much. If you want to dive into that a little bit more, this specific blend has allowed other parts to be molded in transparent that were not able to do that before. Okay, going to try to jump off that tangent now. Wrap this up here. I grabbed maybe 20 of these computers, kind of a cash register slope, printed slope. That's also new for this year. A whole bunch more of these guys. One by one round in transparent again. And little leafy fronds. The actual drawer that these plant pieces were in was empty, but they have a secondary kind of backup stash that they use. It's almost for decoration. Like behind the actual grab area in the drawer is another mirror-backed compartment, and it's behind a piece of plastic, and that's where those were. So I just reached in there and grabbed a few. There weren't a lot there to grab. Otherwise I probably would have got half a cup worth. Maybe not that much. I don't know. I don't have a specific use for these, but a nice part to have on hand. We'll wrap it up with just a quick look at the rebrickable inventory. There are 14 lots, total of 1,215 pieces. Not bad for 2 cups. Of course, the highest quantity lot is the tan tile, and there is also quite a few of the 1x1 round and the window glass pieces. So nice mix of these elements here. Probably going to go into my PAB storage section until I have a project that needs them. Again, in the future, looking to do stuff with modulars. Already getting that started with the blue and tan one. So hopefully can get that section finished up and then move on and do some other style buildings as well. Just pieces that I kind of want to have stocked up and available to use. And a lot of these, again, newer pieces that to get in quantity you really would have to go to Bricklink, where they're going to be more expensive, or just buy multiple copies of the sets that contain them. So the pick and build wall really, to me, is a better option than either of those, and happy to see these kinds of pieces show up there. So this has been our 599th video. Number 600 is coming up. We've got something special for you guys. But until then, we'll see you next time on Brick System Brothers.